Okay, there's another cool property on the right. Very old, looks like 1940s or earlier. But obviously they're not really that prominent because you could tell during those days the most prominent families would always be living in what they call the bahay na bato, or made of stone. Here's another property that was probably dates back to 1950s. So like the house of Jose Rizal in Calamba, that's bahay na bato. The Alberto house in Binyang, that's bahay na bato. And of course, as you go lower, the lowest would be the pawit or the bahay kubo. So that end would be Quezon Avenue, and you could see that there's an ambulance here. Interesting. We're turning back to this place. We'll stay within the boundary of the church. We'll try. Let's see if we could find any heritage houses. An apartment on my right, that's 1960s. On my left, also 1950s, 1960s, more towards the end of 1950s. Wow, it's a nice house here. That's made to look like a classic house. So always remember, churches are always built near a river source, and usually on a hill or the highest part of a land that is near a river source. So if you go all the way to the end of this road, that's the San Juan River. There's an old house here. Nice. It's cool to still see some of the old houses, although they're not very well maintained. On my right is a property development by DMCI or Kunsuji. Kunsuji became notorious when they built this building along Taft Avenue, which obviously would be should be nothing, but it turns out. But when a person is at Luneta, at the statue of Jose Rizal, when one looks at the statue or the memorial of Jose Rizal, the monument at Luneta, right behind is the building of Kunsuji. It's amazing. And that's what, maybe 2 or 3 kilometers away. Their house. That's a nice one. That dates back to around 1930s. Cool. And look at this kind of apartment. Isn't that amazing? Interesting. This is my first time in this place. And there are more houses inside the alleys. You see it? Amazing. Many of them neglected over the years. So, if you came here 50 or 80 years ago, it would be a lot different. Hi. Loud. I think I could actually see the river. Yeah. So it's called the San Juan River, and it flows all the way to San Juan. I wonder if we could check it out. Let's see. So, according to the guy, there's a dog that bites, that's guarding that gate. Oh well, that's a good excuse, although I don't hear any dog. And there's another house that's been really neglected. Oh, yeah. This one's early 60s. There's a karinderiya inside that house. Morning! That's the friendly garbage man. Nice property with a nice old house. It's also I would really like to take a look at that river. How do you do it without attracting attention or getting issues? a resto. Amazing. Huh. Could ever think that this is a resto? Wow. Most of the houses we see here are 1960s. This one is 1950s. That's cool. So one doesn't really know what one can discover when they come into these places. And you know what I'm pertaining to. The offices of American Home. Wow. That's cool. American Home makes very good products. My microwave is American Home, and I've had it for almost 20 years. In fact, the Panasonic one that I had earlier before broke down after a few years, and I bought an American Home to replace that one, and it's still working until now. It's amazing. So you could see how they changed the road. So this is the San Pedro Bautista. So which one is it? Okay. So that's the El Pueblo, San Francisco del Monte. But let's take a look at this American Home appliances. And they also sell Maytag. Alright, okay, we'll know. Oh, hi! Shout out! Amazing. And I'm just using a cell phone. It is full house. They try to make it look like vegan, but they need to do more cleaning up, make it more presentable, and add more heritage houses. Heritage houses are harder to maintain. Anybody put that kid fooled me. So, okay, wow, that's nice. But we'll just have to forget that there are no longer any heritage houses here. But let's just think of this as a tour around a heritage town. Of what town? We don't know. What do we know? But what we do know now is that it is now Quezon City. Just like that place in Bagong Silangan that I showed you before, where the General Henry Lawton was killed during a confrontation with the forces of General Geronimo. And That was supposed to be in Morong, San Mateo, Morong. Turns out that it is San Mateo in Morong was later renamed into Rizal, and it is San Mateo, Rizal. Unbelievable. So good at changing names and so hard to reconstruct history. Now the only problem with these cobblestones or imitation cobblestone is whenever they make repairs on the road, which they frequently do here in Manila. Oh, how do you return it to its original appearance? Because right now it looks really, really cool. I don't mind taking friends from overseas to come to this place to check it out. Nice. Just needs a little bit more facelift, cleaning up. They've even installed some benches. And another cool thing about this church, I was talking to a priest before, and he was telling me a story that there is a tunnel that was built during the time of Spain that connects this church all the way to Manila Bay. He even showed me the entrance to the tunnel, but it's not easy to verify the story, and I guess it will just remain a tale. So there's an old seminary here, but this doesn't really look that old, but yeah, it could be. Yeah, early 20th century. You could easily see from the floor windows. Unfortunately, the windows capis were usually used before, had now been changed to jalousies. Yeah, this could easily be early 20th century, perhaps, or even just before the outbreak of the Spanish-American War. So that's a very good example of the capis windows. So for those who are not familiar, capis are from capricios. So before they had glass, they used to use capis. So the Spanish regional bell of this church. And these were casted here in Manila. And there's usually a famous caster that we always used to use for casting all of these bells during the Spanish days. Forgot his name. So you just imagine. So besides being a place of worship, the church was also used as a watchtower for calling people's attention when there is an emergency, such as whatever kind of emergency, especially if there's an invasion. Check out this schoolhouse. Usually dates back to the 1940s, late 40s, early 50s. But it's very cool. And check out their gate. Nice. There were hardly any cars when I was here a while ago. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all these cars started to pass through. Amazing.